Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly collective reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. First and foremost, I hope everybody's doing well. Paul is holding out some space right behind us. He's saying, "Dad, leave me alone, get me off the camera." Anyway, if you're brand new to the weekly collective, here's what you got in store today. First of all, it's good to have you here. This is collective, which means everybody's welcome, all signs. We will dial into some specific messages when I go into the elements, but I like to start off with channeled messages coming through for everybody. A 7-day forecast, again, for everybody. Then the elemental forecast. And then we'll go into a special topic today, which I wasn't super surprised because it seems like lately people are really wanting to pull in more abundance and better grounding. And it makes sense. The world is a little chaotic and we need more resources than we needed before. So it seems to be a topic that people want to drill into a lot. But what I will also look at with this, and the reason I put the emotions here in the live poll for those that are watching as I'm streaming live, is I picked up on anxiety as I was getting ready for today. Not for myself, I feel good, I slept well, but when I was getting ready this morning, even as I kind of went back to sleep and thought, is there anything I need to know for today? I saw someone on, I forget what you call it, like the high dive or the high jump, where basically, I don't even know how far up that is from the pool, but I never did that when I was a kid learning how to swim. It just looked really scary because you have to kind of work your way up. There's like 3 or 4 different levels before you reach that high dive point. And if you go there without ever trying, unless you were a diver in another lifetime, one of the feelings you're probably going to get is fear or anxiety or I need to take a step back. And I would just say, rather than going straight to that point where you're just diving off the high jump or diving into the deep end, you work your way through it. You've got to learn how to swim first. You have to sort of like do the small kids diving board first. And it feels like you're on the precipice of something big. So rather than pushing yourself 100% into this discomfort, warm up. So one of the things that's happened to me as I get older is I have one knee that's not as good as the other. And I have to make sure that I warm up, that I don't do too much, that I listen to my body. And if you just go cold into exercising, it can cause more inflammation or challenges. So just like life, warm up, ease into a change. It could be a new way of living, a new way of working, a new creative process. You don't want to immediately go cold turkey into something brand new. So that was the first thing that I got. Because I also felt that gasp when you go into like cold water or cold air, like, and it takes a second, right, to adjust. So this week is that second where you're adjusting and then you realize, I'm okay, just breathe. And there was a song by Telepop Music from like the middle aughts where that was one of the choruses was just breathe. Pretty much that's all they sang the whole song, I think. But that was going through my head this morning as I was showering and walking the dog. So I think just breathing and stepping into something new is going to save you a lot of time, a lot of frustration. Let me see if there's anything else I wrote from this. Oh, okay. So the other thing was this sense of, it was very dramatic. And by the way, we're looking at channel messages for everyone. So what I saw was a boat capsizing. And so for this, I think it's really important it was about extremes, not so much a precognition. And then I watched someone just sort of like freaking out. Very much 9 of Cups reversed, if you will, or King of Cups reversed. And I think it's important to ground yourself, which is good because we're looking at this today. But if you're feeling a heavy emotion, don't let it capsize the path that you're on. I'm going to take it on a very figurative, very symbolic level, because sometimes one rejection, one negative comment, one person that just isn't supporting you can capsize your path. And we don't have time for that right now. It's just one opinion. It's just one setback. And there's a lot of other things going on in your life. So you've got to stay at the helm. You've got to pay attention to what's going on. And you can't give one person more space in your head than they deserve. And that's the final channeled message for today. Now let's get into the 7-day forecast. Before I do this, just a quick reminder, it's 100% free and it helps more than you could ever imagine. But if you enjoy this, hit the like button and subscribe if you're brand new. Okay. We'll talk more about different ways to connect in just a second, but I'd like to get into the 7-day forecast now. So I already selected the deck that I want to use here. Take a moment, if you will, and close your eyes, letting go of whatever stress, anxiety, emotions that you might be feeling. As I'm looking at the live poll here, let's see what the top emotion is. I don't know where it went, but I think I saw some people that were feeling the gamut. So whatever you might be feeling right now, just breathe. We're gonna go through this, okay. Actually, I was gonna use a different one, but this one's here. This one spoke to me, okay. Special topic is in the description. Create abundance and stability, Ace of Pentacles. Grounding. All right, let's begin. Again, imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead. Welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Let's see what messages they have for us. There's the capsizing energy that I saw. I think retrograde begins this week, so I'm not surprised that we have a little bit of that intensity. All right, let me just move over here. Make sure I can try to get all of it in view. All right, we'll start off with the energy for today, which is the 10 of Cups. This also can be the capsizing because it's in the reverse position. So typically this is family, love, connections, very joyful card, much like the Lovers, which I had already kind of pulled yesterday for today. And as I mentioned with the Lovers, people are attracted to you because of your passion, because of your energy. But just like a pet, they read, oh, what a cutie pie. They read off of your general reaction to things. So if you're stressed, they're stressed. If you're overwhelmed, you call in challenging situations. So it feels like today you might just need a way to let go. Yes, we see the word happiness on here, but not every day has to be rainbows and unicorns, nor is it, if we're completely honest. And those more challenging days are the context. They give us the context to appreciate the best of days. I'm going to pull the traditional 10 of Cups here because it will help us articulate the other point today, which is boundaries. So on the 10 of Cups, there are a myriad of people. Both 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles have people, but the 10 of Cups are the ones that know you the best. 10 of Pentacles sometimes are obligatory relationships, like co-workers and I mean, it can also be marriage, but it's usually through a contract you're obliged. But this, friends, family, loved ones, versus this, contracts, business, money, exchanges. So with this, the people that love you most, the people whom you are probably related to by blood, like mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, etc. When they throw their drama at you, when they project their expectations, their joy, their fear, their judgment, it hits a little harder. And so today you might need to create space between yourself and the people you love the best and the most, if they have difficulty in respecting your needs, your boundaries, your desires. It could go well because we got the Lovers card, but there could also be people that just put too much energy in your space and you may not be able to take that on today. So depending on what else is going on in your life, this may feel like it's too much. So create space if you need to, and that's the big takeaway. Also, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Again, there might be someone that you care about and they don't approve or don't support you on something, but they may come around. That's one thing that, and you never know, it could take 10 minutes or a decade. But give them a little bit of time and then keep focusing on you. In this moment, what you need, what you want, really important. And you shouldn't have to swim upstream to make something happen. You shouldn't have to completely change your life, your energy, etc. for everybody else's approval. Trust and know yourself and take everything with a grain of salt. Okay, let's move on to Monday. We have a great card. Success, basically. 6 of Wands. Abundance is being called out in particular on this one. What I like about this 6 of Wands is no one's there, and success isn't always immediate. You don't get the immediate gratification like job well done. Sometimes success is just, I feel good. I feel like I'm doing something that I'm really proud about. I think I talked about this a little bit in the Lovers. And maybe I pulled it out because I have to keep them sometimes under 3 minutes, so I can expand on it here. Your key to success is your confidence in, yeah, this part I took out. It's your confidence in what you're presenting to the world. When you love yourself and have self-confidence and self-worth, people tend to respect you. When there's really powerful people that enter into the room, part of their power is their belief that they're powerful. And it's this weird sort of thing where it's self-reflecting, and it's also, what's the best word here? It's self-supporting. I'm just going to turn the camera down here for a second because I noticed that the main camera is off. So not off, but just delayed. Sometimes that happens. So what you want to really focus on right now is finding a way to believe in yourself in such a way that other people can't help but do the same. There we go. That's better. So anyway, we're looking at Monday. And if you feel it and believe it, others will too, and it can actually speed up the ultimate success. If you don't believe it, I'm not going to want to buy into whatever it is you're doing. So the most powerful thing that you could do today to reinforce success is just to believe in yourself, okay? And oftentimes, things are ahead of the curve. You could do something now and it doesn't take off for 10 years or 10 days or 10 weeks or whatever, but it could take some time. I keep using 10 because of the 10 of Cups. There's a little period of gestation that needs to happen. This is very much happening now because of like TikTok. So old songs that didn't really click maybe a decade ago or 2 decades ago all of a sudden have a resurgence. Sometimes it's because they're featured on a TV show. Sometimes it's a dance, sort of trend. Sometimes it's just because it's weird and we have these little moments. There's this thing going on TikTok right now with like Tyra Banks' Model Land, and there's this weird song connected to it, and all of a sudden this book that did nothing is coming out of the... You never know when something's going to have a resurgence, and I'm always fascinated by weird things in pop culture like that. So you may find your success later or when it's unexpected. Just do you. And today, on the flip side, you might also get the success in the immediate gratification, but you never know when the big sort of moment will come. You plant the seeds on Monday and trust that eventually, when the timing is right, or when you're really detached from something, that it can just come through naturally. So don't force it. Never force the connection. For those that watch, I talk about that a lot. It should flow naturally, easily, and without too much push on your side. Okay, we just looked at Monday. Let's look at Tuesday. By the way, Monday's a great day for an important meeting or negotiation. On Tuesday, we have the 9 of Cups, which, by the way, I don't know if that's the best word for it, but yeah, generosity can be part of it because it's overflowing energy. But this is also your dreams coming true. This is kind of like wish fulfillment. And it's also intensity. I actually probably would give it a different adjective because it can be intense joy or intense fear, anxiety, and other things when it's reversed. You have the upright card, which is saying don't let your emotions rock the boat or rule your sort of, like, you shouldn't be beholden to them. You should be inspired, affected, influenced, but not beholden to them. So keep the emotions in check. Don't give up on your dream and have some fun. This is a great day to hang out with people, to celebrate your success, and also to just stay grounded and not let anything kind of like occupy too much space in your mind, okay? All right, in the center of the spread, probably our first major challenging card for the week, 7 of Swords. Okay, I actually see what the author's doing on this one for this deck. So again, we're at the midweek. So we have the 7 of Swords. Insecurity can invite in the character of the 7 of Swords, but the card in and of itself, I wouldn't say is defined solely by that. That's actually the crack in the foundation that pulls in the 7 of Swords. So what I would put as an adjective on the 7 of Swords is like maybe a lack of accountability, a lack of integrity, a lack of honesty. And so we want to have the inverse of that. Be honest, be transparent, be clear. And honestly, trickery would be the right word. So there's something that doesn't show up the way that it appears to be. So here we see what it is, and here we see why it is. It comes in because you're not completely certain or you're not completely clear. So someone tests your boundaries. So if somebody's doing something that they shouldn't, you often see this in a little kid, little toddler. They might try to get to the cookie jar. They may do something in the background to see if mom and dad are really, or mom and mom, dad and dad are really sort of like keen on, are the boundaries real? The answer is yes. Pets will do it too. They sneak around sometimes, and you're not looking and they're tearing up a napkin or something. Just in that case, just say stop. You course correct. You model the behavior. You don't have to yell. You're just like, that's not what we talked about. We're not doing that. Now, if someone is legitimately contractually trying to slip out of something, you say, this is what we're doing, and if that's not good, then we need to stop. Like you cut connections, or you hold them to account if it's a business deal. So be mindful of people sneaking around. It took me years to kind of look way in the background, but if you look in the background here, you'll see all of these people arguing, possibly like Five of Swords energy, and he's taking advantage of the smoke screen. So don't get distracted. We're in a world right now where there's lots of distractions going on, so if somebody wants you to focus on something else, they just do something over here. Smoke and mirrors. Don't lose track of the big picture. And in your own life, don't be afraid to put down, the rule of law and just say, no, we're not doing this, okay? Okay. Also, trust your instincts. I know that every time I've met someone that has the characteristics of the Seven of Swords, I typically know it on the first meeting. Or if I look at a contract or look at something, I'm like, this is sketchy. This is not what it's supposed to be. I really want you to follow your instincts on Wednesday, and don't be afraid to say no. It's your best friend actually saying no. Okay. Slow down a little bit as we go into the energy of Thursday. Why slow down? Because a Knight reversed is pumping the brakes for a second. So now we're looking at something connected to our special topics, Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Do I have what I need, time, energy, and money-wise? If not, is this the best way to spend my time, energy, or money? Am I missing a potential support system in my life, like someone that could lend a hand, or maybe I can get a loan here, or maybe this just is too much and I don't need or want to do this right now? So slow down and reevaluate the cost. That's really it. You can negotiate, you can pull back, you can say no, or you can, part of the negotiation, you can even barter if you want to, but with the negotiation, you can be realistic and say, you want this, but it's going to cost this. I can give you this, and if you really want this, then this is what's necessary. Paint the picture. You're not saying no, you're keeping it real and saying, all right, something has to give. I need more money, more support, or we need to agree to do less. Scope, budget, timeline. I hated studying business, but that's something that's like, if there's a lack, you have to figure out which one of those is going to give. It's helpful to know these things. So anyway, that being said, you might also need to just take a step back from what you've been working on and get the big picture and spend a little less time, energy, and money on something, okay? And there might be someone that wants more than they should have, okay? Looking at Friday. Speaking of that, you might decide to take a different path and go in a new direction. And now we have also the capsizing energy that I saw symbolically. So if you are traveling, a delay, that's all it could necessarily be for some of you. We're going to be in Mercury retrograde next week. So when it comes to and I'm doing a special reading later today to help you navigate. So it should be up by end of day today or first thing tomorrow. So you'll have it before the retrograde is fully underway. But with a Mercury retrograde, communication can misfire, travel plans can be delayed, technology can have like a little blip that you didn't expect. Never push yourself to the last minute. Make sure that you're adding extra time and that you are just being kind to yourself when it comes to things like that. You might decide to go back and finish something that you never finished before. You might decide to take a different path. You may need to have a plan B, and it needs to be a plan B that you feel good about. I'm looking at the wind in the sails on this Six of Swords, and with this it's saying, I am uninspired. I need to do something that inspires me, that creates passion, that makes more momentum and more flow happen in my life. So you might just be pivoting, career, relationship, or something like that. Something big, because the Six of Swords is a transitional card, but it's something good too. And it even says transition on this, so I approve of the adjective on this card. By the way, my heart goes out to the people in Europe that are going through the heat wave. You may also be taking a holiday to get away from that. I have a friend that's visiting the Czech Republic right now, and I think it's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know the Celsius version of that, but like too hot, too hot. And I know I've been seeing videos from Paris and even the UK where everybody's going through it in Europe. So, you know, my heart goes out to you because I know you don't have as much air conditioning too. So everybody hang in there, maybe get out, maybe take a trip. It could be a good time for that. All right, moving onward, let's take a look at next weekend. As we're looking at Saturday, we have the Queen of Wands. I love this. This is a really cool Queen of Wands because this hair has its ears, almost like antenna, really tuning in. And the Queen of Wands is all about inspiration. And yes, leadership, she's a boss card, but she's also imaginative. She's a problem solver. She is magical. She can pull a rabbit out of a hat if she needs to, and you can do all of that. So whatever difficulties might have presented themselves, whatever frustrations you might have felt, it feels like you got a solution. You've got one sorted out by next Saturday. And if not, then think to yourself, I'm going to figure this out. It's a self-fulfilling statement and thought, and words can be magical, right? All right, let me see if there's anything else. A leap. So this is also connected with my vision at the beginning, like taking a leap of faith. Sometimes you just have to jump when you're ready. Like I've watched enough videos of like professional divers. They still sometimes get a little bit of butterflies. Performers do it before they step on stage. Anybody that's really vested or cares about what they're doing tends to have a little bit of nerves coming in. But remember, just stay connected to source and you should be fine. Overall, great energy. If you need to step into a position of power decision making or be the boss, Saturday is a great day for that. All right, let's take a look at Sunday. On Sunday, we have the Fool or the Wanderer in this deck. Interestingly enough, we see like a rainbow, and we can infer from the rainbow that many of you are just ready to get over something or move beyond something. And there is a silver lining. There is a sort of light at the end of the tunnel. With the Fool in reverse, a couple of things to be mindful of. Taking a step backward isn't the same as like losing progress. Sometimes we have to do that in order to, you might be at a fork in the road, you might need to fix something. It's like a flat tire on your car. If you keep driving the flat, it's going to be metal on concrete and it will screw up your axis and you're going to have more problems. You have to pull the car over, put the jack up, flip on the spare, and just take 30 minutes or whatever it takes. Clearly, I don't change tires enough. I've seen my dad do it, and I called drivers A, like AAA or whatever, to help me with it. But I know the basics. It's going to take about half an hour to fix this. That half an hour saves you from thousands of dollars or euros of paying for damage to your car. So take the time to fix the flat. Take the time to course correct. And then you can make up for lost time later. This is also taking a step back and enjoying life. There's more than just go, 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 work, 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 school, 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 whatever it is that you're focusing on. There needs to be rest and relaxation. And that's pretty much everything on this. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at highlights and challenges, and then we'll move on to the next section. So for highlights, I'm really loving actually the beginning of the week. Six of Wands represents success. So Monday and Tuesday, this is wish fulfillment. You can pretty much get anything done that you want to get done. It looks pretty good. I think that the biggest challenge for the week is probably Wednesday, and the rest is manageable. The rest is manageable. It's just assessing and staying realistic and communicating what's necessary. All of that is going to help quite a bit. Okay? All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the elemental breakdown. And with the elements, we're just basically doing a quick pulse check on all of the signs and seeing what's going on. All right, I'm going to clear all of this because I need more space. And we're just going to let these stand alone. All right, so fire, earth, air, and water. Let's see what's coming through for you. fire, earth, air, and water. Okay. Let's take a look here. We'll start off with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. There's more than meets the eye. The Two of Swords here is showing that sometimes there's a third option, not just A or B. You can always say, this isn't what I'm looking for, this isn't good enough, I need to try something different. It's interesting that we have what almost look like waveforms for those of you that edit in like Final Cut or CapCut or Premiere. You know what that looks like, those little, they're like sound waves on her swords, right? So someone could be not listening or not paying attention. This could be a friend, a coworker, a boss. This could also be you. So stay focused. Try not to get distracted. And if you notice that someone else is distracted in your life, pause and say, are you here? What's going on? Where are you at? Some people aren't even aware that they're daydreaming sometimes. So this is where one of the communication misfires can happen is distraction. Someone looking at their watch, looking at their phone, looking out the window, not really in the moment. So be in the moment. If you're driving or if you're doing something that matters, really snap back into the moment if you can. Ask questions. This is a very curious card, or it's the way that you can solve it. So if you don't understand something, if it's vague, obscure, or just wishy-washy, someone just putting out word salad with no thread of meaning, say, can you quantify that? What do you mean? Can you restate that? It's not clear to me. And it's never a bad thing to do, because if you're in a larger sort of meeting, let's say it's at work or school, chances are there's at least one other person, if not maybe half a dozen, that have the same question, and they're going to be silently celebrating your ability to just speak up. It also shows you're an engaged listener. You care. Say, I really want to get this right. I'm hearing this, but you're saying this. What's going on? Okay? So more than meets the eye, potential miscommunications, potential distractions, and another path that hasn't been discovered. So that's why you want to ask a question. If somebody's going down one path and you can see a problem, say, you don't have to like criticize it. Just say, well, thanks for sharing that. That sounds great. Have you also thought about this? Because I feel like it might have some commonality, could save some time. Like paint the picture for them. You might be able to surprise someone in a good way. And you could be surprised too. So be open to that constructive feedback and just say, let me think about it. Because it isn't the obvious choice. So there's a lot to unpack with this Two of Swords. But I think Two of Swords sometimes gets a bad rap. And it's showing that you could be missing either something good, or we see a Hydra in the background on this one. You could be missing something too. And the Hydra would be connected to that Seven of Swords moment, something trying to take advantage of what's, not being paid attention to. Anyway, good luck this week. Keep your mind open, keep your ears and eyes open, and ask questions, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Moving on to the Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Looks pretty good for you. Decision time, justice. Justice versus judgment. Judgment, you've typically made the decision. Justice, you're weighing the options, and you will land on it ostensibly sometime this week. And very much like the Two of Swords, you might be researching, asking questions, taking a magnifying glass, and scrutinizing the fine print. If something's legitimately unjust, wrong, or unfair, justice steps up and says, hey, wait a second. We need to make sure, this is also like connected to the Seven of Swords. They're going to come in there and cut the nonsense. And also work-life balance in general. What are you doing too much of, and then what are you doing not enough of? Let's switch it up a little bit. Justice carries a sword, and we don't always talk about that. It is a fighting card when necessary. So if you need to lean on like a contractual obligation or a legal issue, like sometimes you have to fight, and it's okay. And it looks like you've got what you need, or you're going to get what you need. So fight the good fights. Don't just fight for the sake of it, but when justice comes through, it's auspicious in the upright position, meaning it's positive, and it looks like you have an option here if you want to do it, okay? Also, like if you need to get something signed on the dotted line, it's a great week to do so. Pretty good overall, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We like justice. It's like strength. you've got what it takes, and you can actually create some momentum this week if you want to. On to the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Patience. It's the hardest thing. But we have the Temperance Angel, or the Diva in this deck, DEVA. But we can see a multidimensional being here, still testing the waters, but trying to find a way to not get caught up in the hustle and the bustle. And so since the Six of Wands came through this week, many of you may have you might be looking in multiple directions. Like, what do I need to do today, next week, tomorrow, and how am I going to do this? Like, I feel like you might have too many things on your plate. So I'm going to pull the traditional card just for a second, because like Justice, it's one of four balance cards. Four, because it would be like Six of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Justice, and Temperance. They all carry either imbalance or balance as a theme, and sometimes have scales. Okay, so we have Temperance here. I wanted to show this version because the angel is holding 2 cups. It's weighing the options, and it's making sure that things are fair. There's a lot of thematic connections between earth and air this week. But this one is guided. I was listening to somebody, I wish I could find the interview, but they were talking about how one of the ways that we were more in contact with our third eye and our ability to just pick up on intuition was just a lack of distraction. We have so many more things pulling the whisper of intuition out of our heads that we can't hear it anymore. It's there, but you need to get to a quiet space. So Spirit speaks in a whisper, not bombastically, not until it's being ignored, and then it comes through louder. That's more the Judgment card, though. Judgment is a sign you can't miss. Temperance is, hey, what are you doing? It's the little whisper of intuition. So tune in. Your guides, your higher self, they want to help you get to the path that you see by my index finger, but the only way that you can listen is to really quiet the noise. So I never really thought of the volume of the cards, but this is a whisper. Judgment is it's literally a trumpet. It's loud, it's bombastic. So it won't be obvious, but it's apparent if you tune in. The other thing here, because Temperance was reversed, and if we look at this version of it, I feel like you might be trying to overextend. You don't need to be everything to everyone and everywhere at once. Feel free to disappoint a few people and do what's right for you and what's right, full stop. Because when you make everyone happy, so I had this drama teacher that was dramatic, but she had good advice here. She said there are 3 things, and I'll repeat this whenever it's appropriate. First of all, when you try to make everyone happy, you'll fail at that. Even though you want to do it, the reason you'll fail is you won't be happy in the process. So no matter what, if everyone else is happy, you're probably unhappy. They're probably not going to look at you as being decisive. And you're probably going to fall short of expectations. So even though you're trying, you're getting into the energy of 7 of Swords, where you make promises you can't keep. We see this in politicians all the time. It would be better to disappoint a few people and have morals and stick to your word and be someone that people can depend on than to make a bunch of platitude, like basically overextend yourself and water yourself down. So what do you stand for this week? The good thing with all the air signs is you're thoughtful and you can see it from all angles. So pick the path that feels right and stick to it, and don't worry about being everything to everyone, okay? Don't overthink. This is something that all the air signs, Libra gets a bad rap in this, but honestly, every air sign can get too much in their head a little bit because you're above the energy, you can see it. Not like in a hierarchical way, but like air can see all of this and sometimes gets influenced too much by everything else. So remember who you are, remember what you stand for, and be willing to say no and disappoint a few people. It's a sign of strength. And in the long run, you'll probably impress more people than you disappoint. It's a ratio sort of thing. So just pick what is right and stick to it, and you'll be fine. And you're being guided, most importantly. And in the background, you're just 1 or 2 steps away from something. And one of the keys to success is not diving in from the high jump or like the deep end, but testing the waters first. Okay? Okay. Finally, Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, we have the Empress. Very good. We have a healing energy here that kind of reminds me of Mary. So a healing, a divine feminine energy that wants to come through and show you that not only can it be done, but you can do it. And it's encouraging you to step into your ultimate boss mode this week. Birthing, creating, and nurturing are often lost in the Empress. It's not just a boss card. It is creation. It is abundance. It is fertility. And so you are far from the end of the story in whatever it is that you're doing. You're at the beginning of a new chapter. Ends and beginnings are deceptive because sometimes when something comes to a close, I don't know why I'm getting this for you, but I am. So a chapter has closed and you think, is that it? Only if you want it to be, because it's a doorway. If I step out of this room, as I will in about a month, it's gone to me, but it's not gone full stop. Someone else is going to step through it and I'm going down a different path. So it is what you create of it. And so this is the ultimate creator card. What are you going to do next? What's next? Instead of focusing on what's done, flip the script. Okay, that's done, but now what? And not in a pressure way, not in an anxiety way, but more in a sort of like curiosity way. What do I want to do next? Okay? All right. Why don't we go into the special topic for today? Before I do that, if you're enjoying this reading, you can show a little bit of love and support by becoming a member if you'd like to, if you feel guided to. And let me see if I have any free. Sometimes I have a few. There we go. You can also gift a membership like I just demonstrated and did right there. And you can give back through a super sticker, super chat, etc. So welcome to everybody that just received a freebie there. Hope you enjoy it. And to everyone else, feel free to give back if you'd like to. All right, so special topic for today. I'd like to take a look at the Ace of Pentacles, creating abundance and stability. I mentioned stability because it does feel like we're in a world right now where there's not enough and not a lot of it. So let's take a look and see what we can do. All right, we'll check on an Apollo really quick, who's still sleeping, and we love that. All right, I'm going to select a different deck, so give me a second here. Let's take a couple moments here and tune in again. If you just joined, perfect timing. We're now looking at special topic and focusing on planting seeds of intention, looking at any blocks that might be there, helping you ground your energy, all of this and more. Okay, here we go. Let's start off with your catalyst. Okay, this is really helpful for everyone, especially the air signs, because I mentioned Spirit would be speaking to you this week, and we have another angel, and it reminds me a lot of Temperance, but it's important to listen, tune in. So there are so many ways that you can do this. For those of you that say meditation doesn't work, you can try automatic writing or journaling. When you're talking to yourself, when you're writing stuff down, when you're typing it out, however you want to put it into your journal, you are doing some higher level processing. And when you're doing that, you are going out of body and accessing the higher realms, even if it doesn't feel like it. So one way to begin the journey of intuitive development is through automatic writing or journaling, and see what comes through, and see the more you practice, the more powerful that gets. And you can also sketch. So automatic writing, You see this, by the way, in mediums. So Tyler Henry scribbles. There's this guy on Instagram that he's kind of like a comedian, but he reads crowds. I've noticed he does the scribbling too. Sometimes when you just need to like connect to source, you can draw stuff out, but I'll pick up on images. I had one of my friends the other day that says, she asked me, how do you connect with spirit? I said, like imagery, if I'm doing readings, like if I close my eyes, I see what comes through in an image in my mind. But also sometimes clairaudience, oftentimes clairvoyance in dreams. And then you can use other things like automatic writing or sketching. And if you sketch stuff out and you're like, I keep seeing this, then you talk about that and see how it starts to apply to you. Play around with different modalities. Spirit, just like people, speaks a lot of different languages. Pictures, words, sounds, feelings, smells, all of it. Use all of your senses and use as many different modalities as you'd like. It's just like English, French, Spanish, Russian, whatever. They're just different ways of communicating the same thoughts. So you've got to find your language with spirit. Bumper stickers, songs, and words that come out of other people's mouths. Spirit speaks in a myriad of formats. So the signs are there. You just got to read them. It's kind of like when you're driving. If you don't read the speed sign and you go over the speed limit, it's partly because you weren't paying attention. So pay attention. That's kind of the metaphor that I'm getting here with this. Okay? And you will discover, if you're saying, Nicholas, I don't know how spirit speaks to me, slow down and try different ways. When I was younger, like much younger in school, I knew that I had a connection, but I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to do with it. And because I wasn't trying, like there was a bit of a block. You have to keep trying and eventually you'll find your channel. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is why I kind of like, when it comes to language, religion, and spiritual modalities, there's no right or wrong. There's just choices. And they're all parts of the same whole. And if we could start to look at it from that perspective, we'd have a lot less strife on this planet. It's an overall decent week. What I see challenge-wise, one thing in the past here with the Five of Swords, again with the capsizing energy here, the Nine of Cups, exhaustion or burnout, but it's avoidable. These are mutable placements, so I'm going to help you. Let's start with your center card, the Knight. We have the Knight of Swords coming through. Speed. Speed, movement, and you might be surprised at how quickly something comes to fruition or comes into play. A quick email where you're just trying to check in on someone or something could involve then something big happening. So if you've been stuck this week, speak up. Ask for what it is that you want and also explore other avenues. One thing that I do like about Knights is they fight for what it is that they want or they need, and they're not passive, they're not procrastinating, they're initiating. So initiate this week. You can do it with a text, an email, a phone call, a face-to-face, a trip, etc. Like, get out there and make it happen. You have a good chance of surprising yourself and things could get done more quickly, even if someone's been dragging their feet for a long time. This is really good for people that are trying to get approvals. So let's say if you're working, you can get the approval. This is great if you're trying to job seek. This is great if you want to ask someone out. Whatever it is and you want a yes, or you at least want to know where you're standing, this is the week to make it happen. And we're just getting like a confirming card right on top of that with the World. Whenever we're reading the crossing card, it's neither upright or reversed. It's just an affecting card. So the World is about expansion, and it's usually going big. So bigger, not smaller, expansive, not contracting, and moving on, up, or out. So that's actually, it's not like you have an ultimatum this week, but you just have clarity. So if somebody comes through and they don't deliver the communication you want, it might still be the communication you need. No, we're not interested. Or I don't think you're the right person, or whatever it is. You're like, okay, now I can move on. And you can move into something bigger, better, or brighter with the World energy. This is connected to travel. It's a publishing card. It's a distribution card. It's a bigger than you imagined sort of card. So allow yourself to not limit your thoughts or your requests. So when you want something like in a negotiation, okay, so just give me a second here. I'm going to slow down the frames per second a little bit too, so we can hopefully make this better. Okay. I'll wait a second until I see that we're back. There we go. So now I'm doing this on cellular. Something happened with the internet here, but never fear. Welcome to Mercury retrograde, everybody. And thankfully I have a background plan, so we're good. I can see it on the side monitor. Yeah, Mercury is in full effect, the pre-shadow for sure. Thankfully, I've been through this before. Let me just double check. I wish I could bring down a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I can do. Maybe I can do a reduced bit rate. As long as you can see me, we're good. So I'm just gonna hope that everything is good. All right. I'll keep an eye on the side, and unless I see buffering, we'll just keep it as is. Okay, that was fun. I think we just got a lesson there, which is don't give up either. One thing that I've been through this enough, and I'm like, seriously, what's going on here? That's fun. I actually feel like it's perfect when things like that happen. You just embrace it, and you have to have a sense of humor with it. All right, so the world, back to what I was saying. I got cut off. What I was saying a couple of moments ago was ask for all that you want, a little bit more than you need. You may get it, or at the very least, you're going to find that happy medium where there's a negotiation and everyone gets enough, okay? All right. Yeah, everything looks great because I'm watching it on my iPad, which is also where I'm streaming it from. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing me to have a backup. But yeah, out of nowhere, the internet just cut out here. Okay, so it might be time to travel, to move on, to do something different. Give yourself a chance to do that as well right now, and know that you're going to be okay, okay? All right, let's move onward while we still can to the next portion of this. All right, so looking at the deep past, I mentioned that there were multiple cards connected to balance and judgment. Well, balance, I should say. So judgment being, your decision-making process here. 6 of Pentacles is choices. You have enough if you make good choices. I actually love this version of it because we see the outstretched hands saying, I need more, I want more, etc. And you have to make your mind up and say, you know what? I can do this, not that. We talked about that earlier. And in addition to all of this, you can say, I need this for myself. You're making sure that you're not cutting yourself short of what you require, okay? All right, let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about with this. Give yourself time in your life for joy, for rest, for health, for well-being, because oftentimes we are focused so much on satisfying and providing for everyone that we don't get enough. You deserve to be happy. You deserve enough in your life as well, okay? So I want to ground this again into abundance and stability because I needed to ground myself after that moment. So one thing that you can just tell yourself with the 6 of Pentacles is, I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to make the most of this situation, and eventually I'm going to have more than enough, because this is kind of the midpoint card just above it. It's showing when you have more than enough, and everything from this is good in Pentacles. You have a few tricky cards with like the 4 and the 5 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles, you're limiting yourself because of fear. 5 of Pentacles, it's because of self-worth or lack of external support. And by the time the 6 comes around, you're like, I'm going to take the scales and take the reins. And once you do that, that's when things start to get really interesting, really exciting, okay? Okay. Now let's take a look at the deep past. 5 of Swords coming through. 5 of Swords. Typically, it's someone who can't... This is interesting because we see like a mummy, and we see people like that are just kind of falling victim to this like a mummy apocalypse, if you will. I'm going to pull the traditional card for a second, but 5 of Swords. Someone who can't listen, won't take accountability, or likes to argue. And you, in this moment, ostensibly are deciding to just not go that path anymore. It's also the inner saboteur that tells you you can't do this. And the reason is because we're often just programmed. Like, people don't want us to be able to do what we can do. So here's the Six of Pentacles, the traditional one where they're weighing it out. It's followed by this Five of Swords, which is a card of somebody coming through and maybe wanting to gaslight you, get you riled up, get you sort of like just upset, and they feed off of that energy. So you say to yourself, not today, Satan, not ever. And then you tune this out, because this is also the distraction. I mentioned in the Seven of Swords, these are sister or brother cards, because back here, that's the Five of Swords happening. So we see it now. It's a smoke screen so that something else can happen. They're actually like, they're two different sides of the coin. So we don't need to give this person time, energy, or mental real estate. It's not worth it. They're not worth it. Back to the Five of Swords. When this happens, you turn it around and you say, instead of, if it's you saying, I can't do it, think to yourself, why not? I'm going to do it. If it's someone else, take it with a grain of salt and look at their own choices in their life, because sometimes the people giving advice, their life's a hot mess. And you can think to yourself, like, I don't really need to focus on this that much, okay? So it's about tuning out external voices and internal voices that are self-defeatist, that are saboteurs, that are just not there to help you out. There's a lack of constructive energy, okay? So that is the first potential pitfall that I've seen in this otherwise pretty good spread. So we need to be mindful of that, because it isn't worth the time, it isn't worth the energy, okay? Now let's go to the crowning card. If you keep your head on straight, you have the potential to do really, really well this week. This is a card of mastery. And it's our second Pentacles card here. So your good choices in the Six of Pentacles, which are thematically connected to calling in abundance and stability. Now we have a lesson learned, a really big lesson learned. This is like, you're getting your cap and gown and it's graduation day. In the traditional Three of Pentacles, we would see an architect, we would see people helping him. It's representing building, doing, and creating something great and learning that, mastering it. It's also collegiate or educational oriented, like a lesson that you've mastered. Now with this, we see that you don't have to do this alone, and you could benefit from teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. And in this card, like the Wheel of Fortune, there are cycles in life, and you're finally wrapping up possibly a very difficult cycle where it was hard to, and if we look at the lesson, so this is karma coming through. It's saying you're karmically graduating, but here are the challenges. One is you might not be going big enough. You might not be thinking big enough. You might be limiting yourself. Two, you might not be initiating in the way that you need to. So speak up, speak loudly, think bold and big, create balance in your life, tune out the naysayers, both in your mind and externally. And remember, you don't have to do this alone, and you can share your story and your vision with others, okay? There's something to be gained from all of this. If you want to go back to school, if you want to go back to something like a project or a goal that just never got finished because you were putting your time and energy into other things, now's the moment. Now is the time. So I love everything about this. You don't have to do this alone, nor should you. And that actually ties into the next card here. So we're missing my little snail. I still love this card. Nine of Pentacles, slow, steady progress, but ultimately something that's well worth it. It's always lush, lavish, and over the top, the Nine of Pentacles. Typically we have a woman with like some sort of elaborate bird on her shoulder, all kinds of vines around her. It's luxury because you've worked hard. So one thing that we can see here is that some of you haven't celebrated your success or even just your survival. Survival is something to be celebrated. I don't know if this is, I think Madonna said this. She said the most controversial thing that I've done is stick around, because people give her a hard time for her age, and that she's still dancing around and wearing whatever she wants to. Good for her. And I agree with her statement. We can agree or disagree, but look, she's still there. She's still doing her thing, and she's following her vision. So when you stick around long enough, you get to celebrate and you get to do what you want to do. With this card, you don't have to do it all on your own. it is independence personified, but you could, and this is where the ace plus 9 makes 10, and you'll be done. So what you could do is ask, or what you could do is look at something that you've kind of been waiting and saving and say, all right, I'm going to cash this in. I'm going to make this happen. And so it feels like there's a hidden opportunity that you're just on the precipice of finally saying, all right, let me own this. I'm going to pull a couple of sample cards here to help you out to kind of understand this. But if it's been taking longer than you expected, so be it. I think that there's no rush in life. We put these arbitrary deadlines on ourselves. So here's your 9 of Pentacles. Like I said, lavish. She's wearing a crazy elaborate outfit. There are vines and coins all around her, and there's this like little partridge or something there, a falcon. But it took a minute. And you never, like, good things take time. You can't rush it. All that's missing is the topic for today, the ace. Someone could offer her something, she could ask, she could access something. She's just one step away from the 10 of Pentacles. And that is why we had this sort of discussion today. The 10 of Pentacles may require going through a new path or a new goal. So you might decide, okay, I need to go for that. Do it if you want to. That ace, by the way, also shows up on the Queen of Pentacles. She's saying, I want this. So all you have to decide in this moment is how much you want something, and it's just one step away. You've done the lion's share of the work here with this. And it won't take as long as you think now, because this has been the wait, this has been the hard part. You've already done the snail's work. You've done everything that you need to get to this moment, and now it's just one query away, one request away, okay? Now we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I mentioned that when I was looking at this 3 of Pentacles, the cycles. Everything's changing. Now I'm thinking of an old Keen song, but I still feel the same. But that's maybe what it is just a mental block. You haven't snapped in emotionally to the energetic change that's happened. You are not your present situation. You are not what happened yesterday. So just because something's missing, you don't see as many, zeros after your bank account as you want to. You're not getting as many gold stars. That's yesterday's news. That's not now. That's not next. And this is focusing on the now and the next because the wheel keeps turning. So it can turn in either direction. Let's turn it in the upright direction, okay? And I love that we have like the Eye of Horus in the top, looking beyond resurrection, rebirth, reinvention. You've got this. You might be deciding to change massively. Change a job, get married, get divorced, move in, move out, upgrade, sell off, something big. A resource reallocation, a new recalibration or rebalancing of what you've been doing. It can be exciting, it can be frustrating. It's important. That's the main thing here, So I really am excited about what's coming through next for you. And I would encourage you to just keep on keeping on. All right. All right. Let's move on to the next part of this. Let me take a drink while we're doing that. All right. If you build it, they will come. If you see it, it is possible. And that's one of the things that we have coming through here as well. So with the High Priestess in the environment, believing something is possible breathes it into existence often. So if you think to yourself, I'm making this happen, not just I'm going to do this, like this is going to happen. This is what athletes do all the time. They see the victory. They see where they're going. They trust in the vision, and that vision helps them identify the synchronicity. So believing allows you to see it, and then you see it, and then you believe in your vision. It's like this cyclical thing. Take some time this weekend to recalibrate how you're viewing your life. Instead of thinking, I'm unlucky in X, Y, or Z, think to yourself, I'm changing my luck here, or just say I'm lucky. This is going, I'm going to manifest this. And that certainty, that belief, that clarity will take the veil off that we see on this high priestess and help her see how to do it. It's not if, it's when. And that's actually like the biggest paradigm shift that you can make this week, right? So I like that. It's not if, it's when. So ask yourself, and how. So how, when, and why haven't I done this sooner? And that is going to help you. You're also super tapped in this week. High Priestess is psychic. The Temperance card for the air signs, super psychic. And you have the capacity to hear and see things and make real life and real time course corrections, okay? Now, let's look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have 9 of Cups making an appearance here. And with the 9 of Cups, it's upright, but the cups are upside down. Like I said, it's extremes and it's sometimes illusions. So don't let the emotion of the moment capsize you, because that's the mental, the visual that I got earlier. Also, emotions can block us. They can also lift us up. So at their best, and I'm looking at the live poll right now, many of you have shifted it to hopeful. Let me look at the overall. Hopeful and anxious. It's like two ends of the different coin here. So for those of you that are feeling really hopeful, know that the hopeful energy can take you the distance. If you're anxious, don't let it be a block, because we see here that it can sometimes create an emotional block. Dreams do come true. We think to ourselves sometimes, I'm too old, I'm too inexperienced, I'm too young, I'm too whatever. Stop. Just think to yourself, I'm ready. I'm ready, I'm worthy, I'm willing to receive the dream and the vision. How, when, and why haven't I connected with it yet? How and when will it come through? These are better questions to ask. Now we have in the outcome a card that we can avoid because we came here today. 10 of Swords. Don't beat yourself up unnecessarily. Could have, would have, should have don't really help much, except to maybe inform what you're going to do next. I could have done it now, so I will do it. I could have done it then, so I will do it now. Okay, that's better. But if you just think, I wish I would have, well, what's holding you back now? What can you do now that you know that? So build off of the past, but don't live in the past. Avoid burning yourself out. There's a simple answer to that. You don't say yes to everybody. And that's what we talked about earlier in the reading. If you feel tired, sick, or unwell, pause. Take care of yourself. Don't take the bait if somebody is trying to get you to argue. That's this card. They want you to step into this, which is a trap ultimately, by trying to pull the worst comments or the worst feelings out of you. They're taking you out of your high frequency. So just breathe and think, it's one person, one opinion, one moment. This too will pass, okay? And if you need to slow down, slow down. I don't believe in failure. I believe in difficult lessons. So some of you have just finished a difficult lesson. Some of you might be in the throes of one. Some of you could avoid one. But if it still happens, that's okay. You won't do it again. You learned a lot. And karmically, this is it. You can tell yourself, enough is enough. We're not repeating this, okay? And I think that's going to help quite a bit. All right. So someone said the audio is ahead of the picture. It's not. Just do a refresh. I just listened on my iPad. So for those of you that might have the old feed or say that the audio is ahead, just do a quick refresh. It works for me. I have a computer on my side here, or iPad on the side. It looks like everything is okay. Yeah, it is. Okay. So just hit the refresh. Sorry for those of you that joined in the middle when we had the streaming issue. It does feel like everything's okay. And I also know that Dakota would text me if there was an audio issue. Okay. So we're going to pivot now in a moment. I want to take a look at abundance and stability, like the two tenets of the Ace of Pentacles, and I want to also look at the Ace of Pentacles, okay? So, and then I will kind of go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. I just want to make sure that we really get a pulse on the main topic. And then I'm just going to pull one card for each, and then we have a little bit of extra time. I think we're going to meet the goal. I'm going to be Yes, we will, because we're just one away. So, so I will kind of like adjust the extended as I normally do. Yay, we just met the goal. See, I manifested that as well. All right, so 3 cards here. I want to look at what your ace is going to be. So let's push all of these over just a little bit. So let's look at your hidden ace, if you will. Maybe I'll do a different spread for this, yeah, or a different deck for this. Yeah, for those that are glitching out, just refresh. I always keep a computer on the side so I can see what you're doing. And I have it on Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, but cellular, so if there was a problem, I would see it. All right, so what's the hidden ace? How can you create more abundance? And how about stability? All right, you can't see any of these, so let's just push it all off. And let me see, I could possibly just pull this up a little bit. Okay. I got too fancy for a second. All right, so there we go. We can see a little bit more. I need more space and I don't have my overhead cam. All right, so for the 3 different aces, and then I'm just gonna clear the center because we don't need all these cards on the table. So for your hidden ace, we actually have the 8 of Pentacles, and it's a dam in this particular deck, which I like, and it's saying that there might be something beneath the emotions, and also you might have just kind of like, there's too much going on right now and you need a release. And I feel like for some of you, it could be a hidden email, a hidden piece of paperwork, something that's just slightly out of focus, like that went for a second, but it's going to be there, right? So with this particular card, it's saying, look a little deeper. You probably already have the resource, the idea, or the draft in your general vicinity. Also, you need an outlet. Dams can actually build up too much and then they break. And so man-made dams typically have levers where you can like let some of the overflow out so it doesn't build up too much and overflow. Also, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. So when you just step back and I mean it in the best way, but when you're less invested in something, then the solution becomes clearer. Okay? So it's already there. That's really what Spirit is saying. These cards were reversed so that I'm trying to help you get to the upright. And then we're looking at creating the abundance. You already have the idea. We literally got the topic, the Ace of Pentacles, and a beautiful Ace of Pentacles. And this is definitely connected to, even though it's Pentacles and this, I'm looking at this symbol, she's with the Queen of Wands. So it's just a matter of following your intuition and your imagination and taking ownership of it. So, because she holds the sunflower and it's her like, there's, you know, sunflowers and geckos that are on that particular suit, but you just need to own it. And there's a part of you that may be afraid of owning it, speaking up or going after it because you're judging it or you're worried about what other people judge when you finally do it. Stop worrying so much. Like, it's the only judgment that matters is your own. When you plant a seed, it takes time to grow, and just because you haven't seen the growth doesn't mean that it won't. So I think that's really important too. Okay? All right. The stability. Some of you are spinning your wheels with the Five of Wands, spending too much time fighting, but not necessarily fighting for what it is you're meaning to focus on. You don't have to explain yourself to everybody. Not everybody has to approve. And that kind of goes to back to that Temperance card that I was talking about earlier. When you're everything to everyone, you're no one. It's like you're nowhere. You're not getting anywhere. You're just, it's not authentic. So I think it's going to be important to pick and choose your battles and pick and decide what it is that you stand for, and then take a step back and communicate, collaborate, cooperate, but don't fight unnecessarily. Okay? Now we're going to expand the forecast. I'm just going to clear the table. We don't need all these cards. Sometimes I tie them all back, but like today we just need some space. And Mercury's having a really good time today with technology. Gotta laugh. Pre-shadow is a thing. If you are traveling this week, definitely travel insurance is your best friend. Suffice it to say. If you like this video, by the way, hit the like and subscribe. Feel free to give back if you'd like to. We'll talk a little bit later about other ways to show support. But for now, I need to expand the forecast. So let me go ahead and pick another deck. Let's see, hopefully Apollo will still pop up while I'm doing this. Okay, good. Okay. Health, wealth, love, destiny. We're going to do something different because different is good. I know it scares people, but different is good. Don't be scared. Change is good. Yeah, people forget Apollo's actually, he's a little older. He's about 10 years old. I've been on this channel for 11 and a half years, and he came in the second year that I was doing everything. So I think it was the second, might have been the third, but because he's a rescue, it was probably like the second year. But anyway, yeah, it was 2017. I started doing these consistently in 2015, but he's older now, so he does sleep more than he used to. It's okay. We understand that. Okay, so I'm doing something different here with this. I do this on some of the shorter readings, and I want to kind of do a mini read here with the expanded forecast. So I want to start off with health. We're getting a different version of the Nine of Pentacles, and then we also see this important clearing energy coming through for this. So let's talk a little bit. So when we're looking at general health and well-being, slow and steady wins the race. When there's a change going on, by the way, yes, we're looking at health. I'll just call out what I'm doing. When you're doing anything in your general health and well-being, it's going to be very, very important to make sure that it's sustainable. So rather than like a fad diet or exercise routine, do something that you can incorporate long-term so that it can be a permanent change and it's easier on your body. This is also focusing, I'm getting like building blocks. So putting together like something, a lot of resources, a big plan so that you can access it. And it's not just one thing, like really kind of figuring out a landscape of different options here. So there's more than one way to affect something, like your diet, your exercise, your meditation, the environment. There's so many things that affect general health. So I'm getting all of those pictures, all of those pieces coming together here. And then with the little falcon on the side there, you might also be getting second opinions, second or third opinions, to make sure that you understand what's going on. Because I've found that in one of my two knees, I mentioned earlier that I have like a little bit of early arthritis, and it was from an old injury because I'm really too young for some of that, I would say, but like you're never too old or too young. But a couple of doctors just said, oh, it's nothing, it's probably just a flare-up. Like I had to actually go and get imaging done. So I had to find 3 doctors. This is thematically, it's so frustrating in health. Ageism's real. You're either too young or too old and doctors don't follow through. But I'm like, I feel this, and you have to like advocate for yourself. So don't be afraid to speak up. That's been the name of the game for me. I'm like, why? Particularly when you're intuitive, because what happens is highly sensitive people know and notice things in their body sooner than others. And instead of pushing it aside, you're like, no, something's going on. And they're like, oh, yeah, there actually was something going on there. It's not just inflammation. Okay, here's what it is. So get a second opinion, and make sure that it's someone who has like good research, good vision, good records. You're probably picking up on some things that you can avoid or help in the long run, okay? So I'm glad that you're saying it's not an age. Like, yeah, it can happen at any age. And what I learned, I had fallen and bruised my knee probably like 2018. And that bruise created a little bit of it affects the cartilage. So sometimes it takes time for something like that to exacerbate and come to the surface, but it was an injury for me. And in my family, there were people that had arthritis, but I'm probably, 15, 20 years ahead of when it should have happened, but so be it. It's a very common thing. For everybody that goes through that, I'm sorry, it hurts, doesn't it? It's not fun, but get the support that you need, find the resources that you need. Don't accept one person sort of like pushing you to the side. Always do the research, because a lot of times, and I have friends that are doctors of different professions, whether it's a general practitioner or ENT or whatever, they have too many patients. And this is more systemic of like what's wrong in the US health system. I'll be finding out soon, like problems in other parts of the world, but like insurance doesn't pay enough, so they just overbook. That's kind of why it happens here, because of privatized health. So, you're just one of many, and they don't always pay enough attention. So you have to slow them down, because this is a card of slowing the people down that are listening to you and saying, wait a second, this and this has happened, we've done this, and reminding them, and it's detail oriented. So make sure that you're doing all of that, okay? Nine of Pentacles also, like, speaking of slowing down, it's making sure that you are doing everything that you can in your life to take care of your health, from, general appointments with the doctor to eating well, to resting well, to putting on sunblock. Like, slow down and really prioritize your health. Now for the clarifying card, we have smudge, clearing energy. So sometimes we don't focus on the environment enough. This is about an energetic cleansing, and you can do it with sound, you can do it with sage, you can do it with frankincense, with any sort of, there's a number of ways. By the way, there's no wrong way, and there's no reason that you can't access one of those ways. So pick the one that works best for you, but do energetically clear the space and then actually clear it. So for some of you, there could be construction that's digging up particles, so maybe you need an air filter. There could be, like in the last place that I was living at, the last two places, there could be something in the walls like moisture. You've got to deal with that. Whatever it is that's environmentally affecting you, make sure that that's being dealt with, because your current symptoms could be a result of that. This can also be a relationship or a job that's toxic, and that kind of gets in under your skin. All of that, okay? All right, so that's pretty much everything for health. What I do like about the Nine of Pentacles is, if you take ownership, if you slow down, if you help the person focus, you should be able to clear it, okay? And some of it could just be energetic, which is auspicious. Let's move on to wealth, which is nicely connected to the whole creating abundance and stability special topic. The star. Okay, so the star is reversed. In the upright position, the star represents being able to connect to your source, and not just your source, but like your higher self and your higher calling. And what we do sometimes is mute our light and try to change to blend in. And by doing that, we diminish our effectiveness or efficacy, and also our ability to accomplish goals, because we're not as present as we could be. So if there's someone in your life that tells you to be quiet, to blend in, to not be so bold, to just follow instructions, to legitimately shut up, that's actually a big wake-up call when people shut you down or shut you up. And every time that has happened, I leave. I leave a job or something like that where someone has told me to not be myself. I had a job once where there was someone who mentally had some challenges, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but they were saying factually incorrect things, and I said, you must stop. And then they said, you can't talk to me like that. be quiet. Just do what I tell you to do. I quit within a week because I wasn't going to work for someone who was making things up and making a lot of chaos. And I was like, nah, this isn't it. This person has their challenges, but they're also a really bad leader. And the two can be the same. So I can forgive them for what's out of their control, but I also don't need to be here anymore. So I stepped out of that. I've been other places where people wouldn't listen, where they like systematically shut me down or just took other ideas. I'm like, okay, so clearly I'm not really needed or wanted here. I need to move on. So if people, or they're like, you're asking too many questions. We're not paying you to think. I've had someone say that it was like more for like a high school job, but like, you're not paying me to think. What am I doing here? Like, I'm not a robot. So I'm still going to think, and I think I'm going to leave. So if someone shuts you down, shuts you up, or shuts you off, you can shut the door to that. You don't have to do it today or tomorrow, but you can do it like I did within a week. Just say, I got to find something else. This isn't it. I know the job market's worse now, but like, there has to be something better than up. And this is true of also because we're looking at self-worth, which is going to affect your net worth. So if there's a family member that tells you, I won't accept you if you do this, or why can't you be more like this person, or I don't like it when you do that, and it's just you being you, that's them wanting to change the core of you, and it's conditional love. Not unconditional, but conditional. I'll only love you if you do this. Okay, then I guess you don't love me because that's not me. If you want me to change who I am, I can't do that. So you have outgrown something, or you're on the precipice of expanding, and you may find that some friendships and alliances fall, but others will come in and celebrate the growth. So don't be afraid to expand and own who you are and shine brightly, okay? Not easy, and it's not something you have to do overnight, but it feels like some of you are on that precipice of just deciding, I want to be happy. And I embrace that happiness over like your acceptance. And we have like a bird here, and it's time to spread your wings and fly like a bird. But some of you are still in the nest. So I get that this is not necessarily like nefarious. There could be someone that it's kind of like empty nest syndrome, and it can be anywhere, not just parents. Like this can, I've seen this in jobs before where people say, you can't leave me. What am I going to do without you? And it's like, but you'll find somebody that's willing to just sit here and do this for another 10 years. I can't do this. You can help them find someone. I'll help train my replacement, but I'm not going to stay here. So you don't have to stay in someone else's template. I really feel like some of you are ready to spread your wings. Doesn't mean you have to leave either. It's just sort of like, this is me, take me or leave me, right? And that's a really, really big step. But you've got your wings. It's time. Express yourself, okay? Briefly looking at how this could apply to like different aspects of working. Like for those of you that are already in a job, this could just be, again, a glass ceiling. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to stay? And if not, look elsewhere. There might be a transfer opportunity. You also have negotiation tactics, and they may try to get you back if you leave, but you have to ask yourself, why did it take so long? Entrepreneurs, you can do a lot of different things. This is about not limiting yourself, and also maybe working on social media, sort of like how you're putting yourself out there. If you're job seeking, how can you stand out? Like really, this is being bolder, not blending in. The sort of odder and more that you can stand out, the better. And this is also very entrepreneurial, doing something that you love. Students, you need to find a place where you can ask the questions. There are some places where the teachers don't want you to ask questions, and that might not be the right school, university, or class for you. And for retirees, it's never too late to follow your dream or to do something that you truly want to do. I kind of moved quickly through it, but I wanted to hit on the main topic points there. All right, moving on to love and relationships. Passion. We love the King of Wands for relationships. Passion, wisdom, bravery. Don't be afraid to be the initiator here. He's stepping to the plate and saying, I want this, which is sexy, right? So stating your needs, your desires, your expectations, also your boundaries. And you either feel it or you don't. With wands, particularly the King of Wands, this is just showing that if the attraction is there, if the chemistry is there, you can work through it. If it's not, you're never going to be able to have that spark, particularly in a romantic relationship, but also like just intellectually. If you're bored or you're uninspired or the passion's missing, don't do it. But if it's there, go for it. And then intelligence, boldness, problem solving. The elephant represents Ganesha, being able to push through any sort of block. It's a very sensitive and very intelligent energy. So a good leader is sensitive, intelligent, and strong. And that also is what the King of Wands can be, and passionate. If we break it down into relationships and how these totems work with the relationships, for those that are partnered, show your emotions. So the King of Wands doesn't talk you to death, but they show, like, demonstratively, either by doing something that you love, creating some sort of an experience that the two of you love, or just planting a kiss on your face. Like, it's bold and it's demonstrative and it's clear. So show your love. The elephant is interesting because it's also a strong family card. They're very loyal, they're very family oriented, and it feels like loyalty is really key right now to success. So make sure that you're putting some of the time and energy into family right now, okay? For those of you that are single and looking, your friends could set you up if you trust them. I will say this, whenever I've been set up before, I'm like, what do my friends actually think of me? People don't really know. Sometimes they're like, oh, you like blue? So does this person. Clearly you'll be a fit. You're like, but we disagree on everything else that matters, so no. So within reason, if you have someone that really knows you and you trust them, maybe let them. But if you don't trust this person, don't do it. This is also like networking. So there might be a friend of a friend of a friend. Say yes to parties. Single and looking, also you're pulling in a fire sign here. I'm seeing a little bit of salt and pepper on the in the hair and on the beard. So this could be someone with a slight age difference or just a little bit more maturity. And of course it could be a Leo, as I'm pointing to the lion in the background. So so there you go. If you're single and happy, leadership, passion, invention, ingenuity, the ability to take something to the finish line. You can get a lot done right now. And you still can network and meet some new people. Okay? Destiny. Love is in the air, clearly. So this was the card that I pulled yesterday for today. Here we go again. We've got the lovers coming through. A little bit of Sagittarian energy, because if you look at her shoulder, she has a bow and arrow. But what I like about this lovers, just like I was talking about, it's about going after what you want. She's lovingly pulling at his hair, and they're kind of like intertwined here. So your love, passion, and desire to want to be somewhere, do something, or be with someone is self-fulfilling, and also like it's a feedback loop in the best possible way. So lean into what you love, and topically speaking, to create abundance and stability, love yourself, who you are, where you are, what you do, and who you spend time with. When love touches those categories, it's peaceful, it's tranquil. If love touches any one of those categories, it bubbles into the other parts. And if you had to pick one, love yourself. Not in a sort of like, this isn't egotistical, this is like acceptance, celebration, and reverence. That's a much different take than, like, we're not talking narcissism. We're saying, I love and accept myself, and I'm so grateful that I'm still here. I'm still standing, and I still have gifts to offer to the world, still have things to learn, still have people to meet. I'm open, I'm receptive, I'm loving. I am love. That's different than I'm in love with myself. I am love. In the frequency of love is really what we're aiming for with this, because then that is a giant magnet that pulls in more love, okay? Every zebra has different stripes. It's like thumbnails, thumbprints. We're all unique in a certain way. Don't hide it. The star reverse, the zebra reverse, like, own your stripes. And right there, it's on the third eye, the triangle. Really see and know what your capacity is, what your potential is. And don't give up if someone else lacks the vision. So what? So be it. That's them, right? You're never going to make everybody happy. it's a lesson we all need to embrace, because the sooner we just start enjoying life a little bit, the happier we'll all be. All right, we're going to go on to the bonus topic now. And let me see what, I think I want to kind of do an in the flow bonus for today. I'll see what the runner-up was too for this, so give me just a second to look at that. So I'll see if it's worth looking into, but I might want to just do in the flow. And also, I'm going to do a special reading on Mercury, so we'll just save that for a separate reading. So let me go back to the post tab and see how the polls shaped up. Okay, I feel like we're fine, because Ace of Wands is kind of very much in the same vein. So we're going to do in the flow. I like in the flow because it's whatever Spirit wants us to see and know, and it's a chance for both of us to get out of our own ways. So let me see which, I'm going to use a different deck for this. Well, maybe I'll use the same and just give it a good shuffle. All right, so first and foremost, what are you missing? What is drowned out by the noise right now? And why is this drowned out by the noise? Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups in the reverse position, and then we have Star People. Love it. All right, so one of the things that I mentioned with the star a few moments ago is when you truly shine, you're going to naturally pull in what you're looking for. Have you ever noticed if you enter into a party and there's a bunch of people in the room, there's the wallflowers, you might not pay much attention to them. There's the person in the middle of the room that's probably causing too much attention. But like when you look around, what I would probably notice is the person that is smiling or laughing or just really at ease. Someone who just seems to be in the flow. Not the obnoxious person. A laughter can be, like maybe it is laughter, but just laughter of joy. Something fun, something electric. And it's because they're not trying. They're just being. So if you can just be, you're in the highest state of human being. That's a much, I like it when we get away from like humankind or like anything that's a little bit gendered. We are beings, and human beings sometimes just need to be. And when you're in the star state, you're actually in the highest state of being. And then what you need to know and see naturally comes through, and you can connect a little bit more. The Knight of Cups, when they're just having fun and moving through the flow of love, creativity, intuition, passion, all of the things that I would connect with cups, then it's easy. It can be easy. That's the message here. But someone in your life has kind of like stopped the flow a little bit, maybe you, and all you need to do is allow that dam to break, allow the energy to flow through a little bit more, okay? Just be. And then you'll meet those higher frequency beings. Okay, let me get a different deck for this. What's going on around you? I want to look in the in the environment a little bit more. So is there something you should be paying more attention to? Not what are you missing, but like what's the opportunity that's knocking? Let's look at it from that way so I can clarify it. What's the low-hanging fruit that wants to be kind of like paid attention to? Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune and it's upright. So there is a chance to turn things around. Some of you might also be sitting on an opportunity. Someone emailed you, texted you, there's an offer in front of you, but you're thinking too much. Stop thinking so much. Start connecting to like, okay, let's do this. Yes, let's put a date on the calendar. This is also you deciding to take more control over this. So if you've been having challenges with your money, or if you're trying to work on self-confidence, you're getting a handle on it and saying, this is how I'm going to educate, change, or make this happen. So that's part of this too. The Wheel of Fortune can also be an opportunity for you to I'm getting the word cash in. So, but it could also be like capitalize on your biggest strength, or there might be something where you're thinking of, what have I been saving this for? I'm going to invest. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to reallocate the resources a little bit. So you might be getting a better handle on all of that. Okay? All right. How can you solve the problem at hand? Think of a problem that you're trying to overcome in your life. What's the biggest problem? How can you solve it? Choices. Here we go again. Six of Pentacles. We've talked about it a few times. It's not all or nothing. And if there's someone in your life that puts an ultimatum in front of you, they could just be trying to invite you to move in a new direction. You can call their bluff, but there also might be a negotiation tactic here, which is you could even just say, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. We can do this, we can do a little bit of that, and by doing this, actually, I think we could both get what we need. It might not be everything. So the fine art of diplomacy and compromise can help you. Also, just by not doing so much, there may be things in your life that are taking more than they need to. They're not giving back time, energy, and opportunity. So you might have to just think to yourself, all right, I think I need to dial that down. I might need to stop that altogether. And that will give me more for this. So you have all that you, well, let's put it this way. You have more than enough, but not everything that you want. And so discernment and choices have to come through when you have the Six of Pentacles. Okay? All right. How do you release something that you can't let go of? Interesting. There's like an ancestral thing that I'm picking up on with this. We have the Ten of Wands, which is burdens. And so sometimes we are taught by family, society, and lineage that you must do this. You must carry it on. You need to do the family business. You need to go into this career path. You need to get married to this kind of person, have X amount of children by this year. Like, bleh. That's pressure. It's all this stuff. Let these deadlines and expectations and measuring sticks go. What do you want to do? And why are you still focusing on this one thing? Because it's just one piece of the pie. This is someone that's carrying too much, doing too much. Let it go a little bit. Let some of the stuff slip. For instance, in a relationship, if one partner never helps out with something, laundry, food, groceries, just let it completely go to the point where they're like, well, where is everything? Say, for X amount of time I've been doing this, I need some help, I've asked. Now you can see why and what I do. So I need your help this week. Let it slip. Let them see. And if they don't do it, keep doing it. Or just take care of yourself for a minute or two. And if they still won't do it, then why are you in this? There needs to be reciprocity. And you don't have to do it all. It's okay to miss something, to let something slide, to let something go, to let someone fall, provided that it's not like a steep fall. But sometimes they need to go through that to realize, oh, you were doing all of that all of the time. Okay, I guess we can't do that anymore. It's a wake-up call for the other side, okay? For yourself, also, you can just let go of one thing and allow yourself to know there will be more. The story continues, ... to be continued. You just have to decide, as we said at the very beginning, what's next, okay? It's not always easy. It also feels like some of you might just be having a hard time deciding to make a move or to move. And you could do it more on a sort of exploratory or trial basis, like, let's see where this goes, let's see where this leads, sort of thing, and see if that works for you, right? Okay, now I'm just gonna do a past, present, future to see if there's one last thing that we need to focus on, and then we'll do our final card. So we have an interesting triptych here. We have the Knight of Wands, which is showing that you've put in the work to make something amazing happen. We have this sort of imposter syndrome where there's worry, like, do I have what it takes? And then we have the other side of success, the the Seven of Wands. So know this: the work, the momentum, the sort of energy that you put forth will come through. We already see roots starting to take hold of the land, and I feel like things are just on the precipice of happening. So don't give up, and congrats. And if you haven't started it, start today. Plant the seeds now. Fear it can be self-fulfilling. I can't do this, it won't happen, I'll never be able to amount to X, Y, or Z. If you say so, that would be my ironic, kind of sardonic caption on the Nine of Swords to shock people out of it. I'm like, if you say so, but not like really. This is just a fear. It doesn't need, and then you could also put like, don't be so dramatic. Don't take this so seriously. It's not that big of a deal. And the worst that can happen is that it may not happen in the way that you want, at the time that you want. There might be one rejection, but it's not going to be the end of the world. It's not as big as you're making it out to be. Don't give it any more strength than it needs to have. Some of you may also just be dealing, now, like this is easy in a card, but when it's our life, it's harder. So talk to someone. Coping mechanisms aren't always immediately known. It's like we have some survival techniques as just human beings, but there are some things that we need to get as tools, and that's where a therapist, a counselor, or a trusted mentor comes through. So lean on the support of those talented individuals to give you the tools to chase away the monster beneath your bed, which is really all the Nine of Swords is. If you're suffering from insomnia, there could also be chemical, biological, or even like dietary things that are adding to that. So also work with the doctor. It's not just here. It can also be, it's a holistic thing. The good news, the silver lining, is we see the card after the Six of Wands, which is success. And we did see success coming through for this week. So with the Seven of Wands, there may be more requests for your time and energy than you anticipate. And it's important to push back. Boundaries are so important. That's going to help you have more time, energy, sanity, all of that, okay? And I like that this person isn't really in a defensive stance. They're just saying yes or no, and doing so with clarity and power and kindness. It doesn't have to be a pushy energy unless you want it to be, okay? All right. Let's take a moment to meditate, and then I'm going to look at one final question. So this is kind of like a mini personal read when we do the one question. You can meditate. You can even think about it a little bit now, but let's at least get into the meditation first, and then I'll pull a final card. So as we meditate, I like that this deck almost has like the Milky Way going through it. So it's been a long time since I've been able to see, this is one thing that I'm looking forward to. Because there are parts of Europe where I can see the stars a little bit more, especially when I finally get up to the Nordic countries, which is something that I can't wait to do. So when I get to see Scandinavia, I definitely want to see the Northern Lights. But let's imagine that we're seeing that. So close your eyes, and you can imagine that the Milky Way is there. You can imagine that the Northern Lights are there. I want you to see something like out of this world in the night sky. Beautiful, cosmic, shimmering, and it gets you out of your human experience, because the bills, the aches and pains, the nagging energy from someone at work, it's just so small in the cosmic scheme of things. When we look up to the cosmos at how beautiful, vast, and timeless and ageless it is, these things melt away like butter. It doesn't matter. The things that are keeping you up at night won't matter tomorrow. They won't matter in 10 years. And when you're in spirit looking back at your life, there'll be a little piece of dust in a cosmic scale. So let them be as light as that today. And imagine that you're holding your worries in your hands. Take a deep breath, and on the exhale, blow them away like dust in the wind. Allow yourself now to breathe clearly, unencumbered by these anxieties, fears, and irrational thoughts, replacing them with the understanding that as a being of ancient origins, you have the capacity in this life to work some magic, to make some change, to affect your trajectory. You are ancient, timeless. You are stardust, as we talked about with the Joni Mitchell line. You are literally stardust. Everything in this universe is born of old stars. So we have the capacity to burn past and through any sort of blocks that are in our way and shine. So choose to shine in the week ahead. Be authentic, be optimistic, and see something that you want to call into your orbit. Take a deep breath and imagine that the breath itself actually pulls it towards you, and you start to see it spinning around your energetic center. Whatever it is that you're trying to create, it's there. It's in your energy now. It's just a matter of finding the pathway that brings you one step closer. On the next natural exhale, I want you to gently open your eyes, ask a final question, whatever it is that you still need some clarity on, and let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle. All right. We have the Devil in the reverse position. If you asked a yes or no, it's a no. But let's talk about why we don't want to go down a certain path. I like this Devil card because it is not what you expect it to be. The Devil can be temptation. And too often in tarot cards, it's like this horned being that scares the heck out of you. It does not need to look like that. Sometimes it's the temptation where you know, I'll like it now and I'll hate myself later. So don't hate yourself later. Just say no to it. The Devil can be a one-way contract. So this person is controlled. The Devil wins in this contract. So if you're signing on the dotted line and there's like a non-competitive clause, or you're signing away your rights, or it costs too much, or the interest rate isn't fair, there's so many ways the Devil can kind of like weave its control in there. It keeps you beholden to the contract and takes away what? Your joy, your pleasure, and your freedom. And that's how it controls you. So you're going to say no because it gives more, or it takes more than it gives. You deserve something better. The Devil can just be a limiting thought. I can't, I won't, I'll never. That kind of energy. So don't limit yourself in thoughts. Don't wantingly and decidingly kind of sign on a contract, dotted line where you're giving away stuff. And if there's someone in your life that doesn't want what you want and you try to like force them into it, or vice versa, it's already built on a house of cards. Something about this just isn't enough. And you deserve more. Or you're just not ready, or they're not ready. And so pause and explore. The universe is vast. There's more than this one thing in front of you. Now, the one optimistic read of the Devil reversed is you're ready to let go of something or someone. Cut the strings, cut the cords. And you can recognize this a mile away. It's like, oh, here we go again. So when you see something and know that it's trouble, know that it's not what you need or want, just don't do it. If you've already done it, get yourself out of it. Say no, extricate yourself. You don't need to do this anymore. We're stopping a cycle, okay? And basically when it comes to your mantra, I can, I will, I am, puts empowerment in your energy. Be honest, be authentic, and be true. The Devil doesn't like any of that. And when you do all of that, the Devil fades away. It'll find a more willing participant. It's a little lazy, the Devil. It also shows its hand. The Devil is a bad liar. You always get a whiff of it. It's not going to be what you want. Okay? So there you go. Hope that helped. But ultimately, there's something better, if I just had to summarize it. All right. Everybody, thank you so much. First of all, if you enjoyed what you saw here, you can sign up for my newsletter on my website. Right here, you can do a like and subscribe. You can still give back with a super sticker, super chat, or a membership. From my website, you can also follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. And you can give back through PayPal or even book a private reading from my website as well. Before we go into, such a cutie pie. All right, we're going to take a couple moments here to give some love and gratitude for everybody that showed up today. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being the best part of what I do here each and every week. Thanks for sticking through the technical issues today. Gotta love Mercury. And I'd like to take a couple of moments here to offer some gratitude for those that gave back. So give me just a moment here to get that screen ready. And I'm going to say thank you. So thank you, first of all, to everybody for liking, subscribing, and showing up. Also, special thanks to the following people for giving me stickers and helping us meet the goal so that we could go a little bit longer today. Okay, Yoga Rising, thank you so much for your sticker. Colette, thank you for your sticker and your longtime membership. Stacy, good to see you again. Thank you for your sticker. And Walk, thank you for your sticker and your longtime membership. Same to MPS Lehman, thank you so much for being a longtime member too. Alba, thanks for your membership and your sticker. Thanks again to Anne, thanks again to Alba. Story Scene, thank you very much for your sticker. Colette, thanks again for the multiple stickers and the membership. Welcome to everybody that received one from me. Let's see. Let's also go to Marianne. Thank you so much for your sticker and membership. Let's see. TOG777. Taksumika, thank you for your sticker and membership. Let's see. Melanie Morris, thank you very much for your sticker. Yolanda, thank you for your sticker. Ruello, I think it is. Thank you for your sticker. Raven RB, thanks for being a member and also giving a sticker. Same thing to Maria. Thank you, Maria, for your sticker and membership. Gigi, thank you for being a brand new member. Welcome. For contributing a lot to chat and also for your sticker. Colette, thank you again. I appreciate the multiple contributions today. Rafaela, thank you for the sticker and the membership. TOG, thanks again for the sticker and membership. Rafaela, thanks again. Colette, thank you again. Georgia, thank you again. Colette, thank you again. Multiple contributions. Shelly, thank you so much for the sticker and membership. Anne and Georgia, thanks again. Oh my gosh. So List with LaRock, that is 52 months of membership. Look at all those little points on the crown. Thank you so much. I appreciate you too. And I appreciate you for being a supportive sort of viewer for so long. Thank you. Wouldn't be here without support like that. Alba, thank you again. Colette, thank you again. Big, thumbs up to all these people that have given multiple contributions today. It really means a lot. You've all gone above and beyond. TOG, thank you also for gifting a membership. The BAMs, thank you for being a member and for the sticker. Gigi, thanks for the sticker, membership, and for contributing a lot today. Jeannie, thank you again. Good to see you. Long time member. I appreciate the sticker. And Casey and Bloom, always good to see your name. That definitely rings a bell. I've seen you many times. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, is everything for today. Wishing you love, light, and an abundant week ahead. Be gentle with yourself. I will do a Mercury retrograde reading a little bit later. Technology is so fun. Thank you guys for being patient as we had some ups and downs today. All right. Wishing you all the best in the week ahead. Until I see you again. Be well. Bye-bye.